All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Make sure we're live here. It says nobody's watching. It's probably because nobody's getting any notifications. All right, so if you follow me on Patreon before the MLB postseason began, I said I would put a bet down for an Astros-Nationals World Series, and of course we were able to make that call because all year we documented the rigged baseball games, and early in the season we caught on to riddles going on with the death of George Herbert Walker Bush, the Rangers, the Astros, and then at the end of the season in the Nationals' last series with Cleveland, Nationals fit into the riddle. So I want to show you what's funny about Altuve hitting the walk-off home run that sent the Astros to face the Nationals. The final score ended up being 4-6. Houston, Texas equals 46. And with those 10 runs combined in the game, it accumulated to 43 combined runs for the series. And notice Astros equals 43. New York Yankees is also 191, the 43rd prime. What else is really interesting is the owner of the Astros is Jim Crane, born James Robert Crane. His name equals 167, which is the 39th prime number. Just defeated New York to advance in 2019, 20 plus 19, 39. And the man who hit the walk-off home run, Altuve, it was his 167th day of his age, born May 6th. How perfect. And the owner's name, James Robert Crane, the small way also sums to 68, like you have a date with 68 numerology. And I've been putting videos up on my other channel, Zachary K. Hubbard, just documenting the ongoing Skull and Bones rituals. What was up with the Nationals closing out the Cardinals, giving them their 77th loss on the day, leaving 77 days left in the year. All of this stuff is connected to the death of George Herbert Walker Bush. And check out this ritual yesterday. Yesterday we had the score of the game called right. We thought the score would be 4-1 yesterday. And here's what it was all about. Verlander was on the mound yesterday, number 35. This is him in 2017 when he won the World Series with the Astros over the Dodgers, which we called correctly in August of 2017. But yesterday, this is Verlander with the Bushes, HW, who's now dead in W. Remember, they used to run the Rangers. They have connections to the Astros as well. From HW's death, November 30th, to yesterday's game was 322 days. The Bushes were members of Skull and Bones, which identifies by the number 322. When you write out Skull and Bones, it equals 149 the big way and 41 the small way. This is why we thought the score would be 4-1. And yesterday, Verlander, by losing, became 14-9 all-time in the postseason. Keep in mind, 149 is the 35th prime number, like his jersey number. Notice also from HW's death, it was 46 weeks. Like out of night's score was 4-6. Again, Houston, Texas is 46. It was 10 months and 18 days, 1018, like 118. When you write out 41, it's 118. When you write out 41, it's also 46. It's also 35. George Herbert Walker Bush, 118. Game 5, 41. ALCS, 35. So anyway, these games truly couldn't be scripted any better. And you know, again, this knowledge pays big. So it was a tricky year of baseball, but by the end of the regular season, we said it looks like the best World Series narrative is the Astros and the Nationals because they got the tributes synced up with the death of George H.W. Bush. And just in case you're not subscribed to my other channel, again, it is Zachary K. Hubbard. You can go there and just scan through the videos. We've been documenting the Skull and Bones rituals. Skull and Bones. So, there's a lot more to say about baseball, but I've covered it. I've been talking about it endlessly. Let's talk about college football. So here's notes I put out on the Patreon page. Boise State, BYU. BYU looked golden tonight. National media thought BYU couldn't beat Boise State, but the numbers said otherwise. BYU just won 28-25. Check it out. Boise State and Gematria sums to 34. By BYU winning, they just improved to 3-4. That was the first clue. But better than that was Boise State was 7-2 versus BYU all time. By losing, they fell to 7-3 on the day leaving 73 days left in the year. And because today left 73 days left in the year, it was the clue that led to many upsets, including Illinois beating Wisconsin, Missouri losing to Vanderbilt. We'll get to that. So Boise State was 2-2 at BYU. Today has 23 date numerology. They became 2-3 at BYU. And the Boise State coach got his 21st loss overall. Again, today's the day leaving 73 days left in the year. That's the 21st prime number. So Boise State coach gets his 21st overall loss. The BYU coach also improved to 23-23 today as a coach on the 23 date numerology. And the game was 9 days after his birthday. 23 is the 9th prime number. So what a perfect day to improve to 23-23, beating a ranked opponent. Tennessee, Alabama, I mean, this game's a no-brainer, right? Alabama, Crimson Tide equals 70. No doubt they're going to 7-0. Michigan, Penn State. And again, what I always advise people is if a team's a favorite, don't get beat on the points. Take them on the money line. Be conservative. You don't want to get beat with spreads unless there's a good riddle that they're going to cover the spread, like Ohio State yesterday. We thought Ohio State would cover the 27-point spread because they were going for their 7th win. 28's the 7th triangular number. Anyway, but more often than not, I'll always tell people, just take the money line, be conservative. Penn State looked good to beat Michigan. Wolverines equals 52. The Wolverines fell to 5-2. And college football is largely coach-driven. The riddles are almost all through the coaches. The Penn State coach got his 52nd win with Penn State today by beating the Wolverines 52. He gets the 52nd win. Michigan falls to 5-2. And can find the scores here. Notice Michigan loses with 21 points. Again, today leaves 73 days left in the year, the 21st prime. Penn State wins with 28. When you add 1 through 7 together, 28. They get their 7th win of the season. Kansas and Texas. Now, Kansas was a 21-point underdog. I thought Kansas had a real shot at an upset today, but again, take the points. Take the points. 21 points is a lot to cover, especially if a team has a good narrative to win. Kansas, here's what it was. Texas could improve to 3-1 in the Big 12. They're playing Kansas. 3-1's like 31, the 11th prime. Kansas equals 11. So that did make sense there for Kansas. For Texas to win. To improve to 3-1, that was narrative for Texas to win, which they did. They won very narrowly. I think they won by 2 points today. They won 50-48. You got this 48 date numerology. Had Kansas won, Texas would have fallen to 4-3. And again, if you're new here, you got to understand there's base ciphers, alphabetic order forwards and backwards. You see how Kansas is 11. It's also 43. Had Texas lost, they would have been 4-3 instead of 5-2. One of the clues that Kansas had a shot to win was had Texas lost, they would have been 15-3 in Austin, Texas, which equals 153. They would have been 15-2 versus Kansas. And Texas had won 8 straight games versus Kansas. Today's the 19th. 19's the 8th prime. There was a chance that streak could have been snapped at 8. But again, Kansas, major underdog. So taking the points, the smart call, if you took the points, you won. Arizona State and Utah, this game was hard to tell because Utah was 8-22 versus ASU. They could get the 9th win, again, 23 date numerology, the 9th prime, or they could get the 23rd loss. So, very hard to see based on a riddle like that. Again, some games you just got to walk past them. Kentucky and Georgia. Georgia got upset by the numbers last week. Last week on the 61 date numerology, they picked up their 18th loss versus South Carolina. 61 is the 18th prime number. When you write out the word prime, it equals 61. 61 and 18 is the most special prime pairing. But this week, Let's see. The Kentucky coach. Let's see. He could pick up his 43rd loss, the Kentucky coach, and he did. Bulldogs is 43. It's the Georgia Bulldogs. Again, usually the riddles are coach-driven. There were some things on the board there that looked decent for Kentucky. If you took Kentucky to cover today, they were a 25-point underdog. They did cover. I think they lost 21-0. Yeah, and again, when you realize the numerology and numbers attached to the date, you see how often those numbers show up in the scores and the coaches' records. So again, today left 73 days left in the year. 21st prime number. Georgia wins 21-0. Kentucky covers. And again, there were some things there that suggested Kentucky had a shot to get the W. But then at the same time, Kentucky picking up that 43rd, the Kentucky coach picking up that 43rd loss versus the Bulldogs, that made good sense too. So Missouri and Vanderbilt. This one looked like a definite upset narrative. Missouri was a 21-point favorite, and you see how they pick these lines and these spreads. It's all date numerology driven. So Vanderbilt Stadium equals 68. Today had 68 date numerology as well. The Missouri coach had a chance to pick up his 21st loss today, and he did. Vanderbilt won this game. Missouri fell to 2-1 in the SEC on the 21 date, and the Missouri coach got the 21st loss. Also, Vanderbilt improved to 1-3 in the SEC. Today also had 41 date numerology, the 13th prime. So, pull up the Vanderbilt score. Look how many points Vanderbilt won with. 21. The number staring in the face. And honestly, even though Vanderbilt had a good narrative to win the game, still take the points. Why not? 21 points is a lot to cover. Of course, if you took Vanderbilt to win, it paid a whole lot more. And I'm sure some people who follow did do that today. Baylor and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State did have a shot at their 21st win versus Baylor today. That did not happen. Again, when you pay attention to the border riddles, the riddles will predominantly come through, but in some games they will not. So Oklahoma State had a chance at the 21st win. And the Baylor coach, he had it was hard to say because he was on 42 wins and 40 losses. Oklahoma State's 42. They play in Stillwater 40. So it's like, okay, which number is he going to stay on? Well, Baylor, they did win this game. Oklahoma State was the favorite here. Hold on. Baylor actually whooped up on Oklahoma State. So on that game, the 21 riddle did not come through. Monroe, Appalachian State. Appalachian State was a pretty good favorite at home, ranked team versus not so good team. We've been talking about this Appalachian State coach this year and how he's had some riddles along the number 70. His name Eli Drinkwitz equals 70. I've been wondering if for some weeks if he's going to get to 7-0. He's now 6-0, so he's one game away as a rookie coach from getting to 7-0. They spanked UL Monroe tonight. Tulsa and Cincinnati. Cincinnati was a 17-point favorite. They did not cover tonight. They won by 11, 24-13. Again, you had 41 date numerology today as well, the 13th prime. So Cincinnati was a 17-point favorite. 17, the 7th prime. Ohio, the 17th state. Saw that Cincinnati could get their 17th win versus Tulsa, which they did, to go with the spread. A Cincinnati win was going to make them 6-1. Ohio's 61. And the Cincy coach got his 21st win today. See how that works? All these 21s on the board. The Cincy coach gets his 21st win, number of the day. And again, today left 73 days left in the year. The 21st prime number. Minnesota, the Minnesota coach, he got his 19th win with Minnesota on the 19th of the month. Had he picked up his 36th loss, Rutgers does equal 36. Rutgers fell to 1-6 against the Golden Gophers. Golden Gophers is 53, the 16th prime. But Minnesota was a big favorite in that game. Ranked team versus a 1-5 opponent. Temple and SMU. The Temple coach got his 32nd loss today. SMU Mustangs equals 32. So, perfect opponent to pick up the 32nd loss. Oregon and Washington. This game disappointed me. I thought Washington was going to get it done here. The national media was big on Oregon, and Oregon did come back and win. But the reason I liked Washington to win this game was had they won, they would have been 3-2 in the Pac-12. Ducks is 32. They became 2-3 on the 23-date numerology. Washington could have got its 6th win of the season. Ducks also equals 13. 13's the 6th prime. They could have got their 6th win and improved to 3-2 in the Pac-12. And it was the 100th game between these teams. When you write out 100, it equals 54. The Huskies could have picked up their 54th win in it. And Oregon coach could have got his 54th loss all time. And what else was there? The Oregon coach could have stayed on 41 wins on the 41 date, and the Washington coach could have stayed on 23 losses on the 23 date. So, really the only thing going against Washington was that they could have become 2-3 in the Pac-12, and that is what happened. So, that game's a little bit surprising to me. I thought the Huskies were going to get it done. LSU, Mississippi State, number 2 versus a non-ranked team. This was the LSU coach's 84th game. Tigers equals 84. He picked up his 48th win on the 48-date numerology. And the Mississippi State coach got his 9th loss, becoming 11-9 on the 23-date numerology. 23, the 9th prime. So again, coaches, primarily where the riddles are in college football. Iowa was a 17.5-point favorite today against Purdue. And they won narrowly. Iowa improved to 5-2 in Iowa City, Iowa, which equals 52. So that was there. This was the 90th game between these teams. Purdue had 48 wins, so by not winning, they stayed on 48 wins on the 48-date numerology. The over-under was right around 48 as well. 46 points, so it hit the under. But Purdue, they had a narrative to possibly upset. It looked better for Iowa. But usually when it's like this, when an underdog has a shot, it's usually a close game. It's usually a good sign they're going to cover. Had Iowa won, they would have been 3-4. They were playing the Hawkeyes, which equals 34. And they're the Boilermakers, which equals 79, the 22nd prime. Either team could have become 2-2 in the Big Ten and ended up being Iowa. But Purdue did cover the spread. Auburn, their coach got the 68th career win on the 68-date numerology. Again, ranked team playing a non-ranked team. Florida and South Carolina, the narrative was close. The South Carolina coach had a chance at his 26th win. Gators equals 26. It was his 77th day of his age. Gamecocks is 77. South Carolina, though, what they had going against them is they were on 9 wins against the Gators. And again, 23-date numerology, the 9th prime, so they stayed on those 9 wins. And they got their 28th loss in their 7th game of the season. Again, 28, the 7th triangular number. So they got their 28th loss against the Gators all time. Wisconsin and Illinois, another 21 today. Wisconsin got their 21st loss at Illinois on this date that was full of 21s. Almost all the upsets were decided by the number 21 today. Vanderbilt, for example. Oklahoma, They'll likely improve to 5-0 in the Big 12. Pointed out that their next opponent in the Big 12 is the Kansas State Wildcats, which equals 50. So likely go to 5-0. They became 4-0 today against West Virginia. Clemson today became 6-0 against Louisville all-time. Clemson Tigers equals 60. And Louisville fell to 4-3 for the year. They play in Kentucky. Kentucky's 43. So, anyway, this knowledge, there's nothing else like it. It allows you to see what's likely going to happen before the games. Sometimes, the riddles don't come through. Like Oregon and Washington. This is the biggest surprise game to me of the day. I mean, to most people it's not a surprise because everyone thought Oregon was going to beat Washington, but I thought the numbers were pretty good for a Washington upset. And it was looking good for a minute. They were up 14 points in the second half, but they squandered the lead at the end. So, anyway. All in all, it was another great day. And, when you use this knowledge, it usually is a good day. So, for all you Mormons out there that go to BYU who probably aren't watching this video, if you want to find out why Joseph Smith talked to, what's the angel's name? I can't think what the name is right now. Is it Moroni? Sounds like moron, right? If you want to find out why Joseph Smith talked to the angel Moroni on the day that he did, just apply a little gematria to it. You should figure it out in about 5 seconds. Or you can read my book. It's covered in the first chapter. But, this code, it goes way beyond sports. Again, it comes from the language of Kabbalah. So, I guess while we're at it, we can talk about one more sports event that was going on today. I had my most mediocre day of NHL in a while. But the Canucks fell to 4-3 in New Jersey. New Jersey's 43. I thought the Blues were going to lose in overtime today. I thought they were going to lose, but I thought they would lose in overtime. Anyway, the Blues lost to the Canadiens. The Bruins looked good to lose to the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs beat the Bruins today. Boston fell to 3-2 away. Boston equals 32. Toronto became 3-2 at home in the win and loss column. And the Maple Leafs improved to 5-3 overall for the season in Scotiabank Arena, which equals 53. So the Boston 32 riddles lined up. The Avalanche and Lightning was too much of a teeter-totter. The Stars and Flyers. The Stars had a narrative to win, and they did. I was thinking that the Sevens were going to play, though, because Stars equals 77, Flyers equals 77. Had the Flyers won, they would have got their 77th win all-time against the Stars and got their 7th point of the season. So I was liking all those sevens. But wasn't so. Golden Knights and Penguins was a teeter-totter game. Islanders looked good to become 5-3 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus Blue Jackets is 53. And again, for anyone who is like, how do I know that these things equal this? Just go to this website, gematria.com, and just type it in. I mean, everything I'm saying is true. Columbus Blue Jackets, 53. Let's see. What else? Senators and Coyotes. This game was a teeter-totter, too. There were a lot of games today that were just tight. Coyotes became 4-2 at home. Arizona's 42. Had the Senators won, they would have been 1-1 away. Senators is 1-11. Panthers and Predators. Predators equals 44. Thought they might fall to 4-4 at home. They've got an overtime loss, so they fell to 4-3-1. Flames and Kings. Again, this game was a teeter-totter too. Had the Flames won, they would have been 5-3. Los Angeles is 53, but had they lost, they would have been 1-4 away, and LA's 14. So some days you get games where there's just a lot of great alignments, and then some days you get days like this where it's like, oh, God, I can't decide which riddle to choose. But the game that really disappointed me today in hockey was this one, right here. Sabres and Sharks. I can't believe this game didn't come through. Like, this is about as good, just for anyone who doesn't know, pretty much every game that's been like this NHL season has come through this good of a riddle. This is what I call like one of the best NHL riddles, and it didn't come through. So it's like, what in the world? Normally, when a team can get a points riddle that hits and a win-loss riddle that hits, I mean, that's as golden as you can get. Had the Sharks won, they would have been 4-4, and they would have got their 8th points of the season on the 19th. 19's the 8th prime over the Sabres. And look at this. Sabres is 44-19. So I'm just going, how in the hell did this game not come through? It's rare that a game like this doesn't come through. But it wasn't that bad of a day in hockey. The majority of the games that had good reads came through. It's just a lot of the games were like, I can't decide. So, but that Sabres game not coming through, man, I just can't get over it. That and the Huskies game, those two games bother me. So, let's see what's going on with the chat here. Yeah, Dallas Stars 27 exactly, and they became 2-7, so that was right there. Well, sometimes I do wonder if they flip some of the games just because, yeah, and there's some people who follow me on Patreon who bet huge on hockey. Like, they lay down like $5,000 a game, and not that many people bet hockey, so there could be enough people in my channel flipping some of these hockey games because there's so much money getting put on it. So, anyway. On my Patreon page, all the trolls are making fun of the Huskies pick. It's like, what a bunch of fucking losers. Like, nearly every piece of information I gave out was right for college football this week, and you guys are going to sit there and bitch about one thing. Of course, they are a pack of paid-for fucking losers that just sit on my page all day and troll and talk shit, but, you know, what else are some worthless schmucks going to do? So, for Lance asking who I'm on for the World Series, go sign up for my other channel, Zachary K. Hubbard, and watch the video I put out, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago, a week ago, I forget, whatever it was, on the Nationals Astros coming World Series. I revealed something in that video. Yeah, they're always saying that, the perfect script. They couldn't have scripted it any better. And they are. The games are obviously scripted. So, I see Simple Truth's been taking care of the troll. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. You're a night owl, man. What time is it where you are? 3 in the morning? Oh my goodness. Simple Truth said, is that what jersey number Altuve wears? Let me see. Altuve jersey. What number is he? Yeah, he is number 27. So his home run was number 27, and it flew over the head of number 54, huh? MLB's 27 and 54. Of course, baseball's 54. And I guess that just fits in with they couldn't have scripted it any better. Thanks, Hayden. Appreciate it, man. But, yeah, I had to take a few mulligans this year in baseball. I thought prior to the All-Star break, Yankees would be in the World Series, but probably wouldn't win it. Remember, the Yankees already have 27 World Championships, MLB's 27, NBA's 17, like how the Celtics are stuck on 17 championships. But after those skull and bones riddles dropped with the Nationals, then I was like, uh-oh. I guess Astros-Nationals is what it's looking like now. And here we are, so. And that's the beauty of this knowledge. I mean, if you because all year they synced up riddles with the Yankees in the start of the World Series. And what else is funny is they synced up riddles with Bryce Harper and the Phillies in the World Series. And now it's like, oh, no wonder they did that. It was connected to Bryce Harper, but it was connected to his old team, the Nationals. So we finally put the pieces of the puzzle together. Better late than never, but yeah. Also, just like how the Astros just advanced in a ritual connected to their owner, check this out with the Nationals. Let me see. Well, let me see if I can find it. I have so many blog posts. The what is his name? Lerner, isn't it? Ted Lerner. You see how Ted Lerner's birthday is October 15th? This is the day the Nationals advanced to the World Series. 1015, like 115, they advanced to the 115th World Series. Again, that's the day leaving 77 days left in the year. They gave the Cardinals their 77th loss of the season. And Ted Lerner, who runs the Nationals, turned 94 years old that day. Look at what happens when you write out 94 as a word. 147 and 57, just like World Series. 147, 57. And it was Bryce Harper's birthday the next day. Funny. So. Well, those 10 combined runs, Playboy, made it 43 runs in the series. Like Astros is 43 and like New York Yankees is 191, the 43rd prime. Jason Jones says where to find stat info. So here, for people who are trying to do this on their own, happy to help you out. There's websites called Pro Sports Reference. They have them for college and pro. So like if you just type in like a basketball team, so like if you just Magic Basketball Reference, it'll pull up the site. You could type in any basketball team, but this is the site right here. So this is the site for basketball, and on this page, I haven't done the basketball one for a minute. What is it? I have to get acquainted with using it. Why is the head-to-head not coming up? Anyway, all of these sites have tons of information for every sports team. And, there's one for baseball too. So, like if you do Nationals Sports Reference, this website will come up. And on this site, you can get all sorts of information. I don't know. I must be tired because I can't think right now. But here's what you can do also. If you're trying to find head-to-head records, you can write NBA Magic head-to-head. And it'll pull up the part of the site that you want. So here's the Magic's head-to-head record against every team. You can do this for every single sport. Yankees, reference, head-to-head. It'll pull up the site. And there's one for football, baseball, basketball. But you'll know you're there when it's the reference site with the dash reference in there. So, Steelers head-to-head reference. So, again, and for whatever reason, for the football site, they're more detailed. If you go to all games, you can end up verifying the record home and away. And same thing with college football. And it takes time to do it. It's not easy to do because you have to manually count. Wisconsin football head-to-head. So, if you go to this page, they played Illinois today, right? So if you go here, it shows all time. They haven't updated this yet. So when they update it, it'll show that they're 42-37-7 versus Illinois. They haven't plugged into today's game. But if you click here on the side, game by game, It'll load up all the games, and then what you want to do is organize it by at Illinois, because that's where today's game was. And then what you have to do is you have to count. So this is what I had to do, for the games I looked at today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So Wisconsin was on 18 wins versus Illinois. And then that means they could have picked up their 19th win on the 19th, right? But 21 ended up being the number of the day. So they had 18 wins. Then you got to count the losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So before today, they were on 20 losses. Again, they picked up their 21st loss today. It hasn't been included in the stats. They'll probably they usually update their website the morning after the games are played. So that's something you have to be careful of. Like in baseball season, you might check the stats for two teams between each other. You got to make sure they put in the game from the day before, because it might not be updated early in the morning. But 21 ended up being the number of the day. So, and again, day leaving 73 days left in the year, the 21st prime number. And then there were some ties here as well, but I mean, the ties aren't really that important. So, but that's what it's like. And that's why I end up spending hours a day decoding, because I'm going through all the games and counting up all this stuff manually. And it's definitely time consuming, since this has essentially become my job, decoding sports, because that's what people care about more than, ending government tyranny. I'm spending countless hours every single week, doing this for all sports games and putting out the information. And anyway, that's how you do it. You count, you do date numerology, you use Gematria, and more often than not, you can figure out the outcomes before they happen. So, okay, you guys, we'll wrap it up there, and have a good rest of your day. Until next time.